5:30, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Fitchburg Board of Public Works for August 5th, 2021. Attending tonight in council, Dave Herbst and Dave Wilborn. Via Zoom, Sarah Schroeder, Kim Lobdell. City Finance Director, Misty Dodge is with us tonight, and City Engineer Bill Balke. First, public appearances for non-agenda items. I do not believe we have any, Scott. Okay. So next, on to agenda item number 3, approval of minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the March 15th, 2021 Board of Public Works minutes?
I so move we approve March 15, 2021 meetings.
Moved by Wilborn. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Lobdell. Discussion. Any changes? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor of approval of the March 15th, 2021 meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, agenda item 4, review of P-card purchases and checks. So open it up to the board. Questions for Bill on these? Mr. Wilborn has one. I'll give him a, Dave, while you look for it, I've got 2. The first one, Bill, the NASECA conference. Can you, just for the people listening, what that acronym stands for?
You're testing me on that one. What is it?
NASECA conference, and
It's a National Association Consortium Stormwater.
okay,
It's a stormwater group.
okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew it was stormwater, but
okay. Who attended, Bill, for that?
Claudia Guy and Tom from our office, the engineers.
Okay, good, thank you. And the second question I had, a little further down, it was, we had a bill from the state for, on Verona Road. Is that the final, Verona Road Phase 3 utility improvements to the DOT, is that our final payment on that, or are you aware of other outstanding ones yet?
Typically, there's payments that will still be due for the next year or so as they finalize all the quantities with the contractor. So we still could see some more bills or credits. It depends on what's discovered in the next few months.
Okay, thank you. Dave, did you find the one?
Yeah, I found the one that was on the, one of them was the same one that you had. The other one is Concentra, random dot Samaski. What is that? CONCENTRA and then random dot Samish.
I believe that's our random drug screening that we have for our DOT CDL licenses. All of the truck drivers that we have participate in a random screening, and this was one of the testings that we had this quarter.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, so that, any other questions on the bills? Okay, then let's get to the report of our department head, Mr. Bill Balke.
All right. This weekend, we have a waterway cleanup coming up for spring in Earth Month or Earth Week, I guess you could say, coming up. So we have that. We have some information on our website regarding that. Speaking of spring cleanup, our staff has been out sweeping the streets, repairing plow damage, getting our equipment rotated around from plowing to mowing and our summer construction equipment. So we've been working on that as well. We do have a new engineering hire. The technician, engineering technician, we started last week. So we have a new person in our engineering. We're full staff now in our engineering department. We had a public works maintenance worker that started 2 weeks ago as part of our this stormwater management, or this street sweeping stormwater person slash public works plowing person. Started 2 weeks ago, so we've got a new person that started there. And we have a contingent accepted offer for our water utility supervisor. So hopefully by the first part of May, we'll be full staff again and taking on all those wonderful responsibilities that go with those. So had a busy couple months of hiring, and now we're back at it again. As far as construction goes, out on Fish Hatchery Road, we're doing the preliminary parts of getting ready for the main construction switching over. That's going to happen possibly next week. I'll know for certain tomorrow with our weekly meeting. But last I had heard is next week is we're going to be doing a major switch where we'll be driving on the northbound lanes and then reconstructing the southbound lanes. So that's going to be underway next week, but I'll know for certain for sure tomorrow if we're on that track. The pickleball courts had started construction last week, so we've got those under construction. They've made quite a bit of progress out there with the grading, and we're just probably finishing that up and waiting for the pavement when the asphalt plant's open later this month. The construction of the water main for the northeast water main loop up East Clayton under Highway 14 and then down MM is starting up this week as well. So starting to see some equipment roll into that area for the water main construction in that area. The MM and McCoy, we're getting ready to do the final submission for the DOT plans. So those are coming up, and we're looking at having a bid within the next, I think by August, and then construction would start in 2022 for that project, for the signalization there. We're getting our plans together for resurfacing, the crack fill and chip sealing, and been having a lot of meetings with property owners and stakeholders for Sain Road, Lacey Road. And we're looking to have some recommendations before the Board of Public Works first part of May, and through the Transportation Transit Commission and City Council through the month of May for those projects. Other than that, we've just been pretty busy doing all those fun projects.
Bill, when is the ad hoc committee for Lacey Road, when are they meeting again? Are they meeting again this week?
They are meeting this week. I think it's on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock.
Thank you. Any questions for Bill? Thank you for that detailed summary again. Busy time of the year, a lot going on. I'd ask people, be aware during the construction season. You go from construction, all of a sudden, you have a wide road and all of a sudden it's narrowed and you're not used to getting your speed down. So please heed the construction and the safety of the workers. Okay. Then let's move on to agenda items. First one here is we're on 6A, Resolution R8920, adopting Seminole Highway sanitary sewer interceptor collection charge report, and this was postponed from in January. So do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Can we have a motion to postpone it again? We did not get the information about it.
I certainly can. All right.
I'll make a motion to postpone agenda item 6A.
Bill, do you have a date you would like to postpone it until?
I have to talk with the engineer on when we
Okay.
can get that information together.
All right. Moved by Lobdell to postpone. Do we have a second? Second, we have a second on that motion to postpone this.
I'll say it.
Second by Wilborn. Okay.
Gary, you were muted.
Okay. We'll call a vote. All in favor of postponing resolution R-89-20 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Date certain to be provided by the city. Okay. Next, resolution R-63-21. Resolution approving 2021 through 2023 mowing contract. Do I have a motion to approve this?
Approve resolution R-6321.
Moved by Schroeder. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. Second by Lobdell. Bill is going to provide us an overview. We have 6 resolutions. Bill's going to try to provide us an overview on the, is it 6 or 4?
That would be 6.
6, yeah. He's going to provide us an overview on this, kind of this block of resolutions here. So Bill, I'll turn this over to you.
All right, thank you. Resolution R 63, 21, 64, 21, and 67, 21 were all referred at the March 23rd Common Council meeting to the various commissions and committees. At that meeting, one of the alders had asked that those items also get referred to the Resource Conservation Commission, which would meet in May. They're not holding a meeting in April. These items that we have here are time sensitive regarding the mowing and landscaping maintenance, and starting in May would be, kind of a tragedy to have that wait so long and not be able to get that done on time. So we created a direct referral for the resolutions, and those are resolutions 77, 78, and 79, which would allow the committee to or the Board of Public Works to act on those immediately and send those back for action at the council meeting on April 13th, where we would not be able to get to the Resource Conservation Commission. So you have 2 sets of resolutions here. One of them, you would refer them to the Resource Conservation Commission and take action at those meetings, or the second set would be to defer or not go to the Resource Conservation Commission, have approval of those contracts so that we can get going on those in April instead of May.
So which ones are they? They're the median mowing, the median landscape, and what's the other one that's?
Stormwater rate.
Stormwater
increase.
rate increase, okay.
So due to the timing,
Does it-
we actually deny this first one and then approve the 7921. That's the same, that's the duplicate. Am I understanding?
Right, if that's what the board would want
Yeah.
to go forward, right?
So what's the advantage to approving both?
Misty,
Misty, you wanna-
Misty's the architect of this wonderful.
Go ahead, Misty.
Thank you. So yeah, it really ended up being a miscommunication at the council level. So the ones that yes will go to RCC and the one won't. I think it would be wise for Board of Public Works to make the same action on both sets, so that when it goes to council, they can choose to either act on the ones that don't go to RCC and then it's done, or take the ones that will go to RCC and then Board of Public Works still had their say in both of them. So that would be my recommendation, is to take both, same action on both sets.
Oh,
So
makes
by
sense.
doing that, we allow council the flexibility to make the decision as to whether or not it goes to RCC. Okay.
So let me understand it. So if we approve all 6, then council can make the decision whether or not it goes to RCC? Am I reading that right?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So do we have to do that individually, or can we lump them all together?
We have to do them one at a time.
All right.
Yeah, we do them one at a time. Let me just scroll down. Okay.
I guess I don't have any concerns with the median mowing contract. It lists as to how the lowest bidder was selected, and they'd done the contract for the past 2 years and had done a nice job, and I know we did approve it in parks.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, thank you. All right, so we, on the first one, Resolution R 63-21, we had a motion to approve in a second. Any other discussion on this then? Okay. And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Let me scroll down. There's a big agenda package. Almost there. All right. So that was 63, resolution R 63-21, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then now I entertain a motion to approve resolution R 64-21, approving 2021 median landscape maintenance contract. Do I have a motion to approve R 64-21?
I so move we approve R-64-21.
Okay. Second, moved by Wilborn, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Lobdell. Just quickly, Bill, median landscape versus mowing, what's different here for people watching?
These are the areas that you see that have plants in them or have native vegetation around roundabouts, et cetera, that require a little bit more attention than just mowing. We go in there and we weed them. We do a spring cleanup, a fall cleanup, just making them nice for the community.
Okay. Thank you.
And you only got one bidder on this? Is that typical in past years? Have you only gotten one bidder on this, or?
I'm not sure in past years. I'm not familiar with that.
Is the price in line with, oh, Misty can answer that, okay?
And so it's not unusual for us to only get one bidder on that particular project, and the price is in line with what we've paid in the past. So we felt comfortable, A, opening only the one bid, and then 2, recommending just that particular
That was
bid.
gonna be my next question, if the price was in line, since you only had one bidder, because sometimes when you only have one, it causes trouble. Seems sort of unusual that, I see Johnson is doing the landscaping one, and they did bid on the median mowing, but they were a lot higher on the median mowing one. And it seems like economies of scale, it would be, the same person doing both would be more efficient, but obviously not, the way the bids came out, so.
I thought the same thing, Kim, but if I trust Misty and Bill tell me that it's a reasonable price we're paying for that. Other people would have opportunity to bid again in the future here too. Any other questions? Then call for approval of resolution R 64-21, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, resolution R 67-21, authorizing an increase in stormwater rates. We have a motion to approve this resolution.
Motion to approve resolution R 67-21.
Okay. Moved by Schroeder, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Lobdell. All right. Bill, can you just give us the methodology here of the rate study on this and what's driving the increase?
The operating and capital improvement budget from 2021 that was approved back in 2020 had quite a significant increase in personnel costs as well as capital project costs. And in order to meet those budget expenses, we have to increase the revenues for that to meet that approved budget. And Misty's here to help bail me out on the particulars of it, but that's generally what we're asking, and it would equate to about a 38% increase in revenues for that, to meet the expenses.
So why did you have such a massive increase in personnel costs?
We added a maintenance worker that was 65% funded by the stormwater utility for street sweeping because we weren't meeting our permit requirements. So we added that personnel for the street sweeping and stormwater maintenance. And then there was a 35% increase to the general operating funds for the snow plowing and general maintenance through the streets department.
I'm missing something there. The snow plowing wouldn't be included in our stormwater rates, is it?
No, only the 65% of the stormwater person is
Okay.
included in the rates.
Okay, all right. I'm with you. I'm slow.
I guess it seems like 38% is really high to me. I understand there's some, there's a lot of development going on, so there's more stormwater, but then there should be more people paying it, which to me should offset at least part of the cost for everybody else. I mean, because you're going to be getting in more revenues from the new people, from all the homes and lots that are being built. So I guess, and I saw you did not do a study, but you did a simplified approach, but then I didn't see the simplified approach in there. Misty, maybe you can elaborate on how you came up with a simplified approach and how you got to the 38%.
Sarah, is it okay if I answer?
Yes, please, Misty.
So the last time we did a rate study, we did hire a consultant to go through it, and they look at all the different categories of our rates and determine, which projects should go to which categories and that whole thing. This time, because we had done that relatively recently, all we did was we took the 2021 budget expenses that we needed to meet. We did include the updated depreciation number based on the audit that we just went through. So that number is a little bit different than budget, but everything else was just based on budget. And then we looked at the revenues that we would collect based on the current rates and the current customer level. And whatever that difference was how much we knew we needed to increase our revenues by in order to just meet the budget that was approved by council. And that came up to that 38%. And we're proposing just to charge that across all of the rate categories rather than adjusting each one of the individual ones. I mean, if I may give some context too. So our rates right now are at $18.71 per quarter for an urban residential. And all these numbers, I'm going to use urban residential because those are the ones that are just the easiest to digest and compare. So we would go from $75 almost a year to $103 a year for that person. And then I did have my staff look at the area municipalities. And if you look at Middleton, they're at $180 a year, and Sun Prairie's at $140 a year. So I think part of it is our rates just aren't keeping up with our costs. And it's not unusual considering the other urban areas in Dane County and the different flooding projects that have been addressed, or at least in the works to become addressed. And I'd also like to point out that this rate increase really only addresses 2021. So if you look at the capital improvement plan for future capital projects over the next 10 years, 2022 and beyond, there's a lot of really big capital projects coming down the pike also, and those are not factored into this increase or this proposed increase. This increase really would just be to balance the 2021 budget.
So are you saying that you anticipate that you will be back next year with another significant budget increase because of the capital improvement projects? Is that what you're estimating?
Either that, or I think council needs to prioritize what projects get done when.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the pitchforks and torches.
I can't understand you. You're worried about what?
Pitchforks and torches when you start throwing 38%. Natives get. When's the last time we had an increase in the stormwater rates?
A little over a year ago?
Do we know? A year?
Yep. Exactly. A little over a year ago, we did that full rate increase.
Okay.
And at that point, some of the rates, most of them went up, but there was actually one category that went down because of how things were shifting among the different categories.
I recall. Yeah, I recall. You.
So you said with the simplified approach, you took the budgeted numbers and then you took the existing rates and the existing customers. So my first initial question was, there's been a lot of building permits, a lot of residential housing that has come on, and that is, going to be coming on shortly with all the developments and stuff we're doing. Why aren't we factoring the new people? I mean, you have the current users. Why aren't we factoring all the lots that are going to be sold, the houses that are going to be sold into there, and to take some of that money into account?
Yeah. So there would be an increase there, but I also expect more costs to come, not necessarily as a direct result of those additional houses, but we know that there's future costs going up. And for example, we hired this person now, and they will continue to increase in their rate and their benefits and stuff too. So that increased cost will take that increase in the customer amount.
I hear what you're saying, Kim. You know, on the surface, you think, all right, we have more customers, but I'm just hopeful, you know, when there's new development, that it's a break even, that it doesn't hit, you know, that the existing ratepayers, you know, their costs don't go up because of that new development. Usually it does. Bill, what are some of these big projects on, I think we know, but for the people watching, what are some of these big projects on the horizon that would drive this number up again in a year?
Gosh, I had a list. I have to get that for you. We've got a lot of stormwater pond dredging that needs to take place. There's, gosh,
I can help you out. There's the Sub-Zero, not Sub-Zero, the Seminole and Lacey Stormwater Project. I know there was a presentation about Lake Barney at Committee of the Whole recently. And the vegetation management budget actually went up quite a bit because there's a lot of projects that kind of fell behind that need to get caught up on. And then as we're taking in these new facilities from the developments that are going in, those will have to be maintained in the future and then also replaced at some point in the future.
What about developers getting a little bit charged more for, they're making the big profit on all these developments, why aren't we charging them more for stormwater to start with, when they have to make these stormwater ponds? Anybody got an answer for that one?
I didn't hear the question, I'm sorry.
I'm saying, why aren't we making the developers that are making the big bucks off of these developments that are originally putting in the stormwater runoff ponds more money to the developers, so all of a sudden the taxpayers here aren't getting that big jump every year?
Yeah, with the new development, we do take that into account. You know, the developers need to account for the stormwater management. But, you know, it's the sins of the past, I guess, we're trying to make up for and correct. So that's where we're seeing a lot of our costs going to capital projects. I just wanted to point out that the finance person who put together the spreadsheets that were in the packet did let me know that there are about 125 new residential customers in there. So she did increase that. And so it's, you know, not crazy. You know, we're not over assuming how much development is going to occur, but she did put those in there. So there was also, you know, a couple of new industrial or non-residential customers as well. You know, so she did increase it a little bit, but it's not super crazy that it would make up for the difference of what the increase in expenses are.
How are you going to go about letting the general public know that their stormwater rates are going to go up 38%? If we pass this, or if the council passes this?
So generally our outreach would be the paper generally will pick up on something like this. So there'll be likely an article in the Fitchburg Star. And then on our quarterly utility billing, we would put a note on there as well, letting people aware. Because the other nuance I should point out is that this increase would be effective for the quarterly customers on July 1st. So it would not be this coming bill, it'd be the bill after. And then the annual customers, because they only get a bill once at the end of the year, their increase actually wouldn't be until the end of the year. So this increase actually doesn't cover all of 2021 because of that timing difference. But we do try to get the word out a little bit. But to be honest, most of the rate increases that we go through, it's the phone calls when people notice that their thing was.
Yeah, I was going to say, they won't read the notice in the existing bill, but when they get their next bill, that is significantly higher, then the question will come up. And then they'll be like, well, why didn't we have an opportunity to know? It doesn't ever have to go to the public, to discuss, you know, a rate increase. It's just something that the council can do, huh?
Well,
So the meetings are public meetings. So I mean, this meeting would have public access, and then the council meeting as well. The public is welcome to join and encouraged to.
Yes.
We do try to get the outreach out, but you're right, people have a tendency to not pay attention to our notices until it actually hits their pocketbook.
Pay attention when they have the pitchfork and torch, then, then they get your attention. I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place here. The increasing number of ponds, it takes more people, more personnel to take care of these. There's no question about that. Do I feel like the existing people that have been here a long time are footing more of the bill? I think that's the newer residents are getting off much easier. We've funded most of this stuff before. Kim, what's your thought? I don't have another option except say, we're not gonna hire this guy and let stuff go to heck on us and not maintain them, and then we get dinged on our report. And our water quality.
It causes more problems if your stormwater system is not functioning the way that it is supposed to. You don't dredge, people are gonna start getting flooded because it's gonna back up. You're right, you're caught between a rock and a hard place. It's like, you really don't have any other option other than to continue the maintenance and continue, moving forward. It just seems that, like you said, it's the capital improvement projects that maybe council has to prioritize to figure out what, if property tax bills went up 38%, people would be yelling and screaming all over the place, and, council members would run on the forum of, I'm gonna pay attention to your property taxes and watch them so that they don't go up. But that's why I was sort of asking about the outreach portion of this, because that gets so much publicity every time your mill rate goes up, and this is what your property taxes are going to increase, and that kind of stuff. And basically, this is pretty much the same thing. It's the property owner that is going to end up paying this much, except it doesn't come in your property tax bill. It comes in your Fitchburg utility bill. But I don't see where you have any options. If the budget's been approved and we've already committed to this much, increase in things, and we know this is the revenue we're taking in, and what is the dollar amount of the shortfall? Can you tell me that, Misty? Or Bill?
It is in the packet. Let me get there.
Were these spreadsheets only included with one of the resolutions and not the other one? Because I didn't see it in the first one, the 6721. Were they included with the other one?
I just noticed that when I was looking for it too.
Okay. Because when I looked through you, and I'm like, we didn't even have this in here, and then I sort of skimmed through when I got to the second one of everything, assuming that they were the same.
Well,
So I guess that's my question, is like, what is the dollar amount? If we say, we think it's too high, and we're only gonna recommend a 20% increase rather than a 38% increase, I guess we need to tell the total dollar amount. We'd know what it is that what we're trying to deal with. That's gonna have to come somewhere out of the general fund at this point, because the budget's already been approved for 2020.
So I don't want to run the numbers exactly. I can get those for you and reply back. But I did include in that document you're talking about, that's in the R7921 supporting documents, we included the 38% as that first column, and then we did include a 25% increase instead, just for a comparison purpose.
Okay.
And if we did a 25% increase instead, we would be about $150,000 short. So it's a pretty decent amount.
Between 38 and 25, that's like 13%.
Right.
100.
And then I would also say that it can't necessarily come from the general fund, because that budget has already been passed to, and those property tax bills have been issued and collected. So it would need to come from stormwater somehow, but there's cash now to get them through the year, and that's why this coming to you a little bit late and having a little bit of a delay in the implementation is okay, because there's some cash balance to get us through, but not too much after 2021. We'll start running out of resources.
Okay.
Sarah, thoughts?
I was shocked when I saw 38%, but then looking at it as a 2582, that reassured me a little bit, and I appreciate Misty's comparisons to Middleton and Sun Prairie. Because without a doubt, Sun Prairie is stormwater is a hot topic for residents, and so I get it's, no one wants to have increases, but I do think improvements need to be made, so I'm not happy with a 38% increase, but the fact that it seems more digestible at 25.82, and that it's for something that I think benefits a lot of residents, I think it just kind of needs to get done.
Well,
I
here's
think
the,
it's a hot topic. It's a hot topic with the people that the stormwater affects, with the people that it doesn't affect, and there's probably like half the population of Fitchburg compared to the other half. The other half is like they don't care, and they, you know, I didn't buy my house in this area. I like Dave said, I've lived here forever, never had any stormwater problems. But I mean, you can't look at it that way. But there's going to be several, you know, I would say about half the people who are going to be like, this is ridiculous. It seems like if we could do it better planning and have less increases, you know, less amount of an increase, it's a lot easier for people to tolerate than a 38% increase all at once.
you know, the relative age of the cities, you know, we're closer to Sun Prairie than we are to Middleton. I think Middleton's a little older city, you know, that the issues Sun Prairie is running into are similar to ours, you know, that I'm glad we're lower than them. If approved, the messaging has to be, we need to, you know, this is increased. We have to have very clear, concise, you know, this is what's driving it though. You know, we can't, you know, we need an extra worker because we have, you know, 15 extra acres, or, you know, we need very concise, of what this is paying for. You know, we can't, you know, most people, even if we do that, they say, well, it's the black hole of city government, and that's where all our tax dollars go. We need to spell it out very clearly, Bill and Misty, you know, as you did to us. These are what's driving the increase, and, you know, it'll be up to the next council to, you know, look at it and see if they want to continue. I would add, you know, we have an alder person that got elected strictly saying, I'm going to make Fitchburg ready for climate change, and she won 2-1. So I would guess her supporters would be in favor of this very much, you know. You know, that maybe they want to pay a little more of the bill. I'm not sure, but.
I agree with Dave. I think, you know, like I said, I think it's probably necessary, and the fact that we are lower than other communities probably just means that we've been a little slower at implementing this or getting the money that we need to be able to do those things. But I do think that having a reasonable explanation as to what the increase is going to go for, and, you know, the salary, 65% of the salary of a new worker and whatever it is, but having a definitive, you know, reason what the expenses are that are increasing and why we have to do this will help defer any, you know, any uproar or whatever over the increase. If people can see what their money's going to, I think that they understand it a lot better. So by having a detailed explanation, I mean, it doesn't have to be the person makes this much money and it's just, you know, we had to hire another person 65% of their salary and this capital improvement project, and we've been experiencing stormwater difficulties here where we had to do a study on Lake Barney and, you know, whatever, some of those kinds of things. But having some reasonable items that people can relate to will help them understand the cost increase better.
I'll get prepared for the people that have the Dave Herbst voodoo doll with the I'll get ready for this. But any more discussion on this?
What, I guess on the stormwater ponds, how, we build one and how long before all of a sudden we got to do work on them right away? I mean, what's the standard of quality we're getting with these stormwater ponds too?
Well, but if
Yeah, it doesn't need maintenance right away, but it's going to need maintenance in 10 years.
you know, the streets, you know, sand gets put on the streets, you know, that washes in there. If construction isn't maintained, leaves blowing in there, you know, they fill up with, I don't, Bill, do you have a sense, you know, what, if we put one in a new subdivision, how long would we expect before we would have to dredge it? Do you have any sense of that?
Typically, you know, they're designed for probably 20, 25 years. But depending on where it's located, it could be as soon as 15 years, you know, based on the development that's in the area.
So if you have debris blocking either an inlet or an outlet from a stormwater pond, is that something the city is required to do maintenance on too? Or is that part of the homeowners association from the applicable subdivision, or who does that?
Typically, it's a combination of both. There are some developments that have a private stormwater facility, which they're responsible for with their maintenance agreement. And there's other public facilities that the city maintains. So the city inspects those, makes sure that they're not plugged up. We do that on depending on where it is and how often it plugs up, you know, anywhere from, you know, before every storm to, you know, once every couple of months. So we're out there checking those. So that's something that the city has to maintain as well.
Yeah, maybe that's a model moving forward, that new subdivisions, you know, that the homeowners association has to collect money for future maintenance. I don't, you know, that's a council decision. All right, let's call the vote. All in favor of resolution R 67-21, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your discussion on that. All right. Next, resolution, these should go relatively quickly. No, resolution R 74-21, resolution amending contract terms related to the engineering services for Sain Road reconstruction. Before we move, Kim, are you going to abstain on this?
I am recusing myself from discussion or even any kind of questions on this item, yes.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you. A motion to approve resolution R 74-21.
Motion to approve resolution R 74-21.
Moved by Schroeder, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Wilborn. All right, discussion. What is driving the revision or the amending bill?
The contract that we have before you is being amended to bring the terms more in line with what other entities are doing for their engineering contracts as far as insurance and indemnification. So we're just modifying the language to lower those insurance requirements to what other entities are requiring for their contracts for engineering services and the indemnification.
Was this, did legal kind of drive this? What was the driver? Or the complaining about the contractors wanting better limits? Just curious, what's the driver on this?
Typically on engineering contracts, we have a very high general liability umbrella, shall we say, insurance requirement of $7 million. And it's really high for the projects that we typically have for engineering services that wouldn't need that high of a liability claim. So what we did, we researched local Dane County DOT, some neighboring communities, City of Madison, to bring that more in line with what those communities are doing. Basically, you know, the engineering company would have to take out a very large insurance rider to perform the same services, and we felt that was not, we did not need to go as high as that. Yeah, city attorney, the League of Municipalities, CIVMIC reviewed the contract, and they all felt that they were within reason to go with their lower limits.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Question, Sarah? Anything? Dave?
Why did we scratch out expenses here that have incurred on the project such as travel, computer, printing, and telephone shall be considered incidental to the contract, and that was scratched out of this, 2.26 expenses?
Typically, sometimes the city would take on those expenses such as, mailings and things like that. We've kind of gone away from that, so we're just direct expensing those where, the postage and the letters, the printing and things like that, so that it's included with as an expense for the contract.
Can I help answer that, or do you not want me to answer it?
Jump in. Go ahead.
Because I asked our project managers today, because typically when we do any work within Dane County, we do not charge any miles, meals, lodging, any of that kind of stuff, and we are not doing that as part of this. But Sam Herheim, who's our project manager, I asked her specifically, and she said it was at the city's request, Bill, because of the permitting fees. You wanted us to put all the DNR and all the permitting fees in this contract, rather than having the city have to pay them directly. So that's the only expenses that we're including in part of this contract.
Thank you, Kim. My company has a similar policy in Dane County. Any other questions? All right. We'll call the vote. All in favor of resolution R74-21, amending the contract terms, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Bear with me as I scroll down again. All right, next agenda item. We have, sorry, gotta go a little farther. All right, next agenda item, R79-21, authorizing an increase in stormwater rates. Do we have a motion to approve R79-21?
I so move we approve resolution R-79-21.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Good. Oh, you're back. Good. Thanks. All right.
Yeah.
Second by Lobdell. Any more discussion on this? Call the vote. All in favor of resolution R79-21 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have resolution R77-21, resolution approving 2021 through 2023 median mowing contract. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Lobdell. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Schroeder. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of resolution R77-21 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. No one can accuse the department of not providing the board with sufficient information. I would be, if I hear someone say that, I'll have to crack them
Even
alongside.
twice.
I'll have to crack them alongside the head. They're taxing my ability to read it all, but I would rather have too much than not enough. Okay. Almost there. All right, last, our resolution R77-21, approving the 2021 through 2023 median mowing contract.
Just did that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta go a little farther. I gotta get to 78 here. I'm sorry, hang on. All right. Resolution R78-21, resolution approving 2021 through 2023 median landscape maintenance contract. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve resolution R 78-21.
Moved by Lobdell, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Schroeder. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of resolution R 78-21 signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Bear with me, we're getting there. On a page too far, hang on, sorry. All right, that was, next, resolution R 80-21, approving First Amendment to agreement for subdivision improvements in the plat of Crescent Crossing. Do we have a motion to approve resolution R 80-21?
I so move and approve R-80-21.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Bill, can you give us an update on this? I look out the window at it most days.
Sure. This amendment to the agreement is allowing the developer to provide a cash escrow to the city for the construction of the sidewalk that would go along Seminole Highway adjacent to their development. Currently, it's under design right now, and as part of the subdivision improvement agreement, they're required to install the sidewalk prior to the issuance of any occupancy permits. And what this is allowing the developer to do is provide a cash escrow to the city to construct the sidewalk at the time that the Seminole Highway Lacey Road intersection improvements are being constructed. So we would take that cash and use that toward the construction of the sidewalk when the intersection is being designed and constructed. The second amendment, the second change to the agreement also is requesting that the developer install or grade out the areas for the utility construction for private utilities such as gas, electric, cable, telephone, and those utilities prior to the base course going down, which will allow the utility companies to come in one time rather than come in multiple times to mobilize and sometimes tearing up things that the contractor has already restored. So we're asking for that change as well to the agreement. That'll allow the utilities to get in there ahead of time, just disturb things once, and then everything is done at one time. So those are the two changes to the agreement that we're asking for.
Questions? Yep.
Makes a lot of sense. If you haven't put the sidewalk in now, chances are really good you're gonna be ripping it up and redoing it anyway.
I agree, yes.
So my one question is, are you determining the escrow amount based on current construction costs? You putting an inflation factor in there for next year or the year, whatever year it will be built, or how are you determining that?
We're basing it upon the current construction year, plus the agreement also allows us to assess or bill back, invoice the developer or any differential in cost.
Okay.
That's very, very prudent, thank you. Any other questions? We'll call the vote. All in favor of resolution R 80-21 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, resolution R 81-21, approving agreement with R.A. Smith for construction-related services for Crescent Crossing. Do we have a motion to approve R 81-21?
I'll move to approve resolution R 81-21.
Moved by Lobdell, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Schroeder. What are the related services that we're getting, Bill?
This would be for the construction of the subdivision for Crescent Crossing, for the utility installation, road grading, et cetera, for the phase 2 of the project. The previous public works director has agreed to be kind of our staff liaison or training person for our new staff that we have that's been starting, so that we can get other construction projects out for bid and being constructed. The Crescent Crossing, the developer is going to pay for the full cost of the inspection services, so there's no cost to the city, but we are going to receive the benefit of the training as well as the inspection for the project.
Is it Corey or Mike?
Corey,
It'll be Corey.
Okay, all right, good.
I forgot we had a couple previous directors.
I figured it was Corey, all right. Any questions on this? I think we all hold Corey in very high regard. Okay. Then we'll call the vote. All in favor of Resolution R 81-21, signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Last 6K, Resolution R 82-21, approving amendment number 1 to agreement with R.A. Smith for construction-related services for Stoner Prairie. We have a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve Resolution R 82-21.
Moved by Lobdell. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Schroeder. Bill, what is our amendment on this for the people watching?
This one is the continuation of this inspection services for that subdivision. They had completed their project for the utilities, and given the projects that we have ongoing right now, we're not able to provide the inspection services out there. So R.A. Smith has agreed to continue their contract services for that, for the paving and surface of the remaining construction.
Any questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor of Resolution R 82-21, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Agenda item 7, announcements. The next Board of Public Works meeting is April 19th. At this time, I want to thank Sarah for her service to the city. She served on this board the past year. She's been on parks, several committees, as well as being an alder. And thank you for your time. We appreciate your diligence and your contributions to this board and to the city.
Thank you very much.
And I'm one of your people that I'm really gonna
Thanks,
miss you.
and good luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
All right. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I so move we adjourn.
Moved by Wilborn. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Lobdell. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned.
Hey.